Hello, everybody. It's Tuesday, so it's time for another Tuesdays in the Shop with
Hello.
me, Beth,
And I'm
and
Andrea.
Andrea. We're the owners of Gotham Quilts, and as you all know, we've transitioned to an online-only business now. So you will most likely see us like this on two separate screens almost every Tuesday from now on, because we're not physically in the store together anymore. We have a space, but like we're almost never there at the same time at this point. So right now we're both at our houses. Thank you for everybody who's been chiming in the chat. We'd like to, if you can say hi to us in chat and tell us where you're coming from, joining us from, because we're interested to know. What we're going to be talking about tonight is Stitch Lab, which is another one of our virtual offerings. So no matter where you're watching us from, this applies to you. It's not only for locals or only for, I don't know, people who do handwork or whatever. It's everybody. We would love to see any kind of crafter come into Stitch Lab. But before I get ahead of myself, let's start at the beginning. If you haven't heard about Stitch Lab before, we've been doing Stitch Lab, I think, for about, is it 6 years now?
Could it be?
You know what? I can answer this question very easily via my email account. Hold on while I find the
Because
answer.
we did Quilt Lab first.
Well, right, but I'm
And then,
considering that the same.
oh. Has it really been 6 years? Is that possible?
I'm checking. Hold on.
It's possible. I don't know if it's true, but it just doesn't seem like it could be possible.
From Paula. Sorry, this is not what we are supposed to be doing live. Yeah, you know what it is? 2018.
That's, yeah.
So,
wow.
hi, Sandra. Thanks for joining us.
I
You're
am
almost my
surprised by
neighbor
that.
in Upper Manhattan. Time has lost all meaning, is really what this means, right?
Yeah.
So, it was like April 2018, we started this idea that was pitched to us actually by our friend Paula, who has continued to essentially be the mama hen for what has now become Stitch Lab. In 2018, it was an in-person meeting, and we met once a month, and we only had it in person. We had like a Facebook group so we would chat with each other outside of the actual meeting, but that was it. Then 2020 hit, and we had to figure out how to make it be virtual because we weren't allowed to meet in person anymore. And it turned out that once we went virtual, it actually worked better because you have access to your own stuff when you're, might have some idea. You don't have to commute to get there. We can have people come from all over the place. They don't have to be able to get to Manhattan, right? So we decided to keep it online, and we have been online since 2020, and I prefer it. Sharon just joined us from the Upper East Side. Thank you, Sharon. So I'm going to real quick share my screen to show you the page on our website for Stitch Lab. And the reason we're talking about Stitch Lab today in particular, sorry, I have the wrong screen open. I had the actual Stitch Lab open. We're going to share. Sharing. All right, now we're sharing. So here is the page on our website where you can sign up for Stitch Lab. And what is it? I keep saying Stitch Lab, but those of you who've never heard about this before, what we are intending to do with Stitch Lab is to have a collaborative group of crafters. You don't have to be a quilter, although most of us who are currently members are primarily quilters or embroidery people. But if you're into like knitting or, I don't know, tatting, whatever crafty thing, if it's stitch related in some way, you would fit right in. Every month, as a group, we come up with what we're calling challenges to try to grow as artists or knitters or quilters or whatever we are and whatever medium we want to explore. And when we say challenges, what we mean is something maybe a little bit more artistic than maybe most of us don't really think of ourselves as artists, but what we're making really is art in a way, right? So a challenge might be something like use negative space, or try a new technique, or combine two colors that you normally wouldn't use, or something like that. And as a group, we pick the challenges that we think make sense for us and that we're interested in, that we're excited to try. And if you want to work on that challenge for the next month, you do something. You don't have to make anything specific. You don't have to complete a project. Like some people make like a postcard, or they might make a quilt block, or they might make a little improv thing, or a hoop, or something like that. And the idea is, with any of our virtual offerings, you get out of it as much as you put into it. So if you don't tend to want to do the challenges, but you just want to see everybody else's projects, don't make the challenge, but come in and watch everybody talk about their projects. You can give feedback. Some people would like lots of feedback. Some people would just like to show it and not get that feedback. It's very organic, it's very informal. And some of us who are members do have formal art training backgrounds. So sometimes we will be talking about a challenge where we might bring in an expert to tell us about it. Like if we were doing a special technique, somebody might demonstrate that technique the month before. And then the month that is that challenge, you come and you show your projects. Usually we request that people take pictures of their projects and put them, either send them in an email or put them in the space. I will show you the space in a second. Just because like when you try to hold up a project on Zoom, these meetings are on Zoom. Yes, Kathy, lurkers are encouraged. No problem at all. So the preference, we've figured out over the years that it's better if people take still pictures of their projects and either email them or upload them into the community space where we all talk to each other. Just because holding up your project like this on Zoom just doesn't look so good, and people can't see
it
it.
never
So
works
take
as well as you think.
Yeah, it's so much easier if you take a picture. So
we have another lurker.
Oh, look
right here.
Look who's joining us. I'll make you bigger so everybody can see you, Hazel.
This is Hazel. And
Hazel
I
loves the
told her
tooth.
she was supposed to stay out of the camera, but you can see how well that worked.
Yeah, we knew that wasn't going to work.
Go over there.
You also said you were going to stay quiet.
Yes, you are supposed to stay quiet. We talked about this.
You talked about this.
Okay.
All right, putting it back. So basically, you sign up for a whole year. It's $50 for the whole year. And if you want to renew, it can renew automatically, or you can manage your subscription. We meet on the second Thursday of every month at 6 p.m. New York City time. And the meeting will be up to 2 hours, but it almost never is 2 hours long because most of us go quick and like don't have that much to talk about for 2 hours, but it could be up to 2 hours long. And we record the meetings every month. So if you can't make that month's meeting, you could send us a picture of what you made and we can show it to everybody else while you're not there. Or you could just watch the recording afterwards. You'll have access to the recordings for every month you're a member until you aren't a member anymore, or you keep continuing until forever. I'm going to show you, when I say the space, I'm referring to our Gotham Quilts community site, which some of you may already be members of. The community site itself is free to join, and you can talk to other people. You can investigate all the available stuff that's open there. But there's also paid sections of the community site, for example, Stitch Lab. And this is what that space, the term is space inside these things. And this is like our hub for everything from Stitch Lab. This is where you find the previous videos. So let's say you missed February of last year, where the challenge was mosaic. After the meeting's over, I upload the video from the Zoom into these things are called challenges inside the space. And then you can just replay it. I'm not going to play it because there's no need to actually play it, but you'll see that all the entire 12 months previous, all are here. So we did in April couching. In July, the challenge was stitch on a card. This was a cool challenge. Then we did 3 colors, 1 neon. So this one was defined as, let's see, use only 3 colors and one of them has to be a neon. This was a cool idea that came to us from Paula. Oh, by the way, this is Paula. She's the mama hen. She had seen I think it was a gallery show where somebody had a lot of different pieces that were black, gray, and neon yellow. And when she was showing it to us, she had this idea, like, what if we did this as a challenge? And it was actually super fun to see what people came up with. The reason we're doing this meeting now, I'm sorry, not this meeting, this live now for Stitch Lab, because we've had Stitch Lab since 2018, but this year we're doing something different. If you have ever gone to, I'm going to take the screenshot out. If you've ever been in a quilt guild, like a guild, a traditional one that meets in person, you might know that most guilds do an open meeting every year, which is what that means is that a meeting once a year, a meeting where anyone can come, even if they're not current members. And the idea is to be able to attend the meeting, see if you get along with people, see if you like what's the point of the vibe, let's say. And we never did that before with Quilt Lab, but Stitch Lab. See, we used to call it Quilt Lab. And the idea came to us last year, like, let's see if we can recruit some new members, because the more people who come, the more fun it is. You can see everybody's work, you can give feedback, you have all these ideas that you maybe never thought of before, right? Like for Andrea's color journey, it's the same thing. If more people come, it's more fun for everybody. Everybody learns more, everybody gets more inspired.
Yep.
So what we decided to do is that next month, the February meeting of Stitch Lab is an open meeting. Everyone can come if they want to. And in order to support that, I have made the space inside the community site. So this thing is now accessible to everyone. So from now until the day after the February meeting, and the February meeting is, again, the second Thursday of the month, which, when is that? Let's see, what's the date? February 8th is the second Thursday of the month in February. So until then, once you join the community site, and I can put that link in the chat as well, you can browse around and, watch previous ones, or I don't know, look at what was posted in the feed, which is a sort of like a Facebook feed where we can post to each other. And this group is just for the members. Right now, at the moment, it's open to everybody, but in general, it's only for the members. And this events tab is where you find the link to get into the Zoom too. So it'll say when the meeting is. Oh, and by the way, Mighty Networks, which is the software that we use for the community site, it is smart enough to change these meetings to your local time zone. So when I'm looking at this says 6 p.m., right? That's because it's Eastern time, which is the time zone that I'm in. 6 p.m. Eastern time is when this meeting starts. So if you're in, say, California, this is going to say 3 p.m. So be sure not to then translate it again, because it's already been fixed for your time zone. If you've set up Mighty Networks, you have an account and you logged in, it'll tell you your local time zone version of when the meeting is. We've had some people confused about that in the past, where they saw 3 p.m. and then they subtracted 3 hours again and came to the meeting 3 hours too soon. Michelle is asking, is always the second Thursday of the month? Yes, it is. It is always the second Thursday of the month at 6 p.m. Sorry about the conflict. After enough years, we know that no matter when we pick, it's not going to work for everybody.
Yeah, there's always going to be someone.
Do about that. If you wanted to join and just watch replays, you could. I don't know what other solution is.
There's also Quilt Lab, though, which is similar, not the same.
Quilt Lab?
Yeah. Did you change it? It's not Quilt Lab anymore?
What? This is what we're talking about, Stitch Lab.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah. Thank you, Michelle. She's saying, no worries. I may join. I think it's a cool concept. That's great. I appreciate it. Okay, so next month, this meeting that's on the screen right now, Thursday, February 8th, 6 p.m. New York City time. This is open to everyone who wants to come. However, you do have to go to the community site and sign up and click the thing so that you can have the link. And in the meantime, you can, snoop around Stitch Lab, see what you think, check out the previous challenges. What we often do is we'll have a meeting every so often where we just come up with challenges and we make a list that we might want to do in the future. And then in future meetings, we almost always pick a month or two ahead so that people can start thinking about the idea and maybe even, trying out some concepts. So since this meeting in February is an open meeting, you might be wondering, what is the challenge that we're doing, right? What we decided to do is do a color of the year challenge. So the idea is to use any of the color of the years, whether it's the Pantone color of the year, the Kona color of the year. There's a link, we put a link somewhere.
Yeah,
Let's
you
see if I
just had it
find
up a
it.
second ago to
I
a
did, and I
list.
closed it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was in the feed.
Oh, in the feed. Okay, let's see.
I think.
Yeah, sometimes I can't
Yeah,
find my own
right
thing.
there.
Oh, yeah. So this blog post that Heather's another member, she found this blog post, which is in the feed, which has a bunch of different color of the year options. Because what we realized initially, my thought, or whoever came up with this, the thought was to just do the Pantone one or the Kona one. And then somebody said, I really hate the Kona color. And then somebody else was like, I really hate the peach color. So then we were like, okay, well, maybe any color of the year is acceptable. So this is a blog post that Heather found that has a bunch of different options.
Yeah,
And
every
how
paint,
you,
like
sorry, you say?
every paint manufacturer, everybody that manufactures like consumer goods, like they all have a color
Right.
of the year.
Yep. So the idea is every challenge, you get to interpret what that means to you. So there was one time way early is the challenge was make brown modern. And we had somebody who really didn't want to use brown. And so she did not brown. And that's how she interpreted that challenge, right? Like there's no grading, there's no pressure, it's fun, right?
Yeah.
So if the challenge is use the color of the year and you really can't stand the color, that's why we have all the different colors. So you can pick whatever color you want. You might then think, okay, so now I know about a color, what do I do next? It's up to you. So I think some people are probably going to explore some kind of monochromatic thing, right? Like use that color only in lots of different values, meaning light to dark of that same color. Somebody else might do like a lot of negative space. Somebody else might do like, if they're doing embroidery, they might do a bunch of different thread types in that color and make some kind of shape. Or maybe if you're taking one that's peach, you might actually make a peach, right? Like whatever you think, whatever the challenge says to you, that first idea that comes to your head is usually the best one. And then you make whatever you want. You can make a quilt block, you can make a pot holder, you can make just like a stitch sampler. Like everybody has made all kinds of different things, and some of our members are more prolific than others. So some people make like a quilt based on the thing, and no one really finishes a quilt in a month, but like it might be like, the challenge month, they bring the first block that they're thinking of making a quilt from. And then like 6 months later, they'll come to the meeting and show us the finished quilt that was based on that challenge. And it's so much fun to see what people come up with and to give each other feedback and to learn from each other. Andrew, you haven't come recently. Maybe you can start coming again.
I would love to start coming again. Yeah, now that I'm not commuting on Thursday evenings,
Yeah.
That will be a lot easier for me to do. And I really like it because it reminds me of being in design school, where you get a brief or an assignment, I guess. And it could be as vague as some of the challenges you've had. It could be something very specific, but it's something that makes you think and hopefully can kind of get you out of your comfort zone and maybe make you think about something differently than you already did and kind of expand your horizons. And we all, I mean, no matter what training you have, what level of quilter or embroiderers, whatever you are and whatever level you are, I mean, even if you're an expert, you can always push it a little further, and having a challenge gives you the, like some people will sign up for a class just so they do the project. It's kind of the same way. Like you don't, if someone gives you a challenge, it's something that wasn't already on your plate. It's like, it's an external prompt for you to think about, as opposed to like, oh, I like that quilt, I'm gonna make the quilt that's in this pattern that I saw that I like. It's pushing your boundaries and getting you to expand how you think and how you work. Yes, exactly, Kathy. It holds you accountable. But just like Yvette was saying, if you just don't have time that month, you you got sick, or it's somebody's birthday, or whatever, you can skip that month, or you can come back and do it later if it's a challenge like, oh wow, that's really interesting to me, but I just don't have time, my work is too busy right now. You can you can come back and do it again later, and watch. You could still watch the video and see what other people did, and you'll still get the feedback from the group when you do show your work. And that's the other thing, is getting feedback, because sometimes somebody else will think of something that you didn't think of. That happens all the time, and that can, like, sometimes it just blows your mind.
Yeah, a lot of times somebody will come and show like a started thing, and then they'll explain, here's where I got to, and then I got stuck. What I don't like about this is X. And then the other people who are in the meeting might go, oh, what if you did this? Or
Exactly.
What if you cut it in the middle, or whatever idea they have.
One of the last ones I did go to was bring your UFOs. And I brought a bunch of blocks from God knows when. And someone did have a really good suggestion that I hadn't thought of. I couldn't tell you what that was now, but I do remember being
that
like,
was like in 2018, probably.
It probably was, yeah, because it was definitely in person.
Yeah. So what the idea of having this open meeting is that everyone who wants to check it out can come and just attend that one meeting to see if you like the vibe, if you like the idea. Mm-hmm. If you want to actually do a challenge, you are welcome to. Anybody who comes, if you want to show something, even if it's only like tangentially related to the challenge theme, we would love to see your work. And everyone is very supportive and kind, and we love talking about stitching. So.
Right. It really is a community of people that like talking about stitching. And so, yeah, even if it maybe isn't the challenge, or it's only slightly related, like, they're still going to talk to you about it. Like, it's, you'll get good feedback and a supportive environment as well. So yeah, it's just it's a nice community.
I'm going to put a link for the place inside the community site. I'm going to put a QR code up on the screen for it. So you can go straight there. And if you aren't yet a community member, it'll ask you to register or sign up, but it's a free sign up. So I think it just says accept on that screen. And then you'll put like your first name, last name, email address. And the concept of this community site is kind of like a private Facebook. So instead of us having groups on Facebook, which is what most of these interactive things are set up for, we used to do that. We used to have these things hosted on Facebook. But Facebook has gotten so painful in the last few years with so many ads and so many people trying to sell you leggings and like, so we found this thing. I
don't ever want to go on Facebook.
Yeah. I mean, I used to hang out on Facebook so much a long time ago, but I don't want to anymore.
But Mighty Networks is completely different. It like takes the best aspects and drops everything else.
Yeah, so it has all those social features, like you can put a comment on somebody's picture.
Yes.
But there's no like your cousin trying to get you to do whatever
ads
thing they're trying to get you to do. And there's no ads, and there's nothing but quilting or embroidery, something sewing related in our community site. So yeah, if you have any questions, as always, you can put it in the comments, or you can send us an email at Hazel's back. Let's show Hazel better. Switch. There's Hazel.
My little mini me.
She does look exactly like you.
Now she's gone.
She's gone again.
There she is. Now we're gonna play peekaboo.
Okay. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So if you'd like to check out Stitch Lab, you can use this QR code to go straight to the community site and look around Stitch Lab. From today, I've already opened up the space in the community site, so anyone can go to it, even if you haven't signed up for Stitch Lab. On the 9th, February 9th, I will close Stitch Lab back to be only for members. And those of you who want to join can join anytime. I mean, technically you could join anytime, literally like anytime from now till whenever. We have open enrollment. So say you sign up on February 16th, you have a year subscription until the following February 16th. So on the 9th of next month, which is after the open meeting, I will close the group back up, and then it becomes only for paid members, which means you can feel free to post pictures or ask questions or anything like that and not have any worry about
random people.
A lot of people looking at it. You know, we do have about 1,000 members in community now, so not that I think any of them are not kind, and I'm not worried about anyone looking at it, but like it's always nice to have a closed group where you know people and you know you feel safe to share and to ask questions and stuff. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm
excited too that I'm going to be able to come again.
Meeting. You know, you could bring your, oh, by the way, sometimes we cheat and don't make something for the challenge, but just like show something that we already made that fits the challenge.
That's allowed. That's fine. That's not cheating.
So you could always do that. And what I was about to say is one of those, Andrew, you could bring your interwoven, your aqua interwoven, because that's basically the Kona color of the year, right?
No, I don't know that might be one of the colors in it, but it's not.
Right.
Well, I don't know if it's the predominant color or not, but
I don't think it needs to be the predominant color, but it's like essentially that color, especially since we haven't actually seen that fabric yet, so we don't really know what color it is.
Keep waiting for it to come in.
I know. Sandra, who's watching us now, she had asked me, I think she was planning to use that, and that's what I was planning to use too, but clearly it's not going to be here in time for any of us to actually use it for this challenge.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
Yeah. All the shipping
has been happening a lot lately, and with the holidays that didn't help, and the weather all over the country, the weather is crazy, so everything is delayed, and
and we thought we were done with this like shipping weirdness, right? Like things had settled down, and then it got weird again the last few months. Michelle saying thank you, looking forward to poking around on the site. Thanks for coming, Michelle. If anyone has any other questions, you can post them in the chat. Oh, Hazel. Hank is asking, do we have a showcase of the previous years? We actually delete the content on the site like a year back. So the previous 12 months are on there, but the rest of it is gone. Sorry. But feel free to poke around. There's 12 cool themes in there. Marissa said, yay, it's Hazel.
I don't think she's seen
Well, Hazel. Thank you for joining us. Now she has.
Yeah, right.
I'm sure you've shown her pictures. Marissa is one of our sales reps. That's basically it. That's all I had to tell you. I wanted to announce this thing. I'm going to send an email to the mailing list inviting everybody to come check out Stitch Lab, and I hope that some people will join us and we can keep having fun all year long. It's so much better.
The more the merrier.
I think right now we have about 7 members that come regularly. There's more members who come in sometimes. So just to give everybody a scale, it's not like a meeting with like 40 people in it.
Yeah. So everybody actually gets to speak and get attention and
and show their work. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We will be back next week at the normal time.
And I think we know what we're going to do.
Oh, do we?
Well, the thing we were talking about doing tonight, I think we should do next week.
The thing we were supposed to do today? Yeah, okay. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Oh, Kathy's saying Zoom and virtual meetings is the best thing that came out of the pandemic. And I agree. It's like
probably the only good thing.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.